Hello everyone, my name is Leah Chestnut. I'm a gospel rapper, a singer, a linguist, a teacher, a wife, and a mother of two beautiful kids. So I migrated to the United States in January 2020. That was shortly before the pandemic. And to be honest with you, I don't regret migrating to the United States of America. So I'm not used to making videos like this, but there's a lot of things that have been happening that's been bothering me for a while. And I had a little discussion with my friend today, and I'm like, I have to make a video and talk about it. And this is happening with Africans, Nigerians to be precise. I know there are like about 54 countries in Africa. But I've never seen anybody from one of those African countries complaining about regretting being wherever he or she is, be it the United States, United Kingdom, one of those European countries or wherever. They don't discourage people from coming. But are there brothers and sisters from Nigeria, Nigerians especially? You are not in Nigeria. You are in a different country, in one of those developed countries, and you just sit down there and try to discourage other people from being where you are when you know there are lots of opportunities right there. So let's assume that you didn't even have an idea of how things work there, and then you get there, and then you discovered that you are not comfortable with wherever you are. What stops you from going back to Nigeria? So, what are you still doing there? Why don't you go back? You sit there and you ask other people. You tell them not to come. The hardship is too much. You have to work for the bills. You have to pay taxes, you can't save money, you're dying of depression and loneliness. What are you still doing there? Why don't you go back to Nigeria? I keep telling people that care to listen, my friends, my family. Honestly, I'm not asking anybody to move to the United States illegally. But if you have the opportunity to come, it could be through school, or you can even get a job with a HB1 visa sponsorship, or you can even come here on research, business trip, on a tour. Please, if you have the opportunity, you can come. It is far, 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 far better than Nigeria if there's an English like that. You know, in Nigeria, okay, the minimum wage is 30,000 naira, correct? And a lot of ministries, companies, organizations, and even the states don't even pay up to that 30,000 naira. So you can imagine you working with a private organization. The minimum wage is not even up to 30,000 naira. And how much is a bag of rice? It's more than 30,000 naira. So even if a bag of rice is 30,000 naira, would you work and at the end of the month just buy a bag of rice? What are you going to cook the rice with? What about kerosene? What about gas? What about charcoal? What about firewoods? What about the ingredients that you're going to use to prepare your meals? For people like me that used to live in Gentile, where you have to buy even the water that you're going to cook with, drink, wash, where are you going to get the money to buy water? You can imagine. So why would someone tell me to remain in Nigeria when I have opportunity to have a better life in a developed country and also take care of my family? I know we spend a lot of money on bills. The way the money comes, it goes out that way, but it's still better because your income is enough to buy good food, like healthy, balanced diet for you and your family. You will never go hungry. You will never starve. You pay your electricity, you pay all the bills from that income. And you know what? There's an uninterrupted power supply. You don't have to complain about your airtime or credit running out because you pay monthly and you make as much as you want to make calls, like a lot of calls you want to make. You have Wi-Fi, you cannot complain that your data is finished. I have to subscribe or I can't chat with you because I don't have data. That doesn't happen. And you're talking about the gun violence. That's just a minor thing compared to what is happening in our country, Nigeria. At least here's a gun violence, and it happens once in a while. In Nigeria, the violence that is going on presently is worse than any gun violence you can imagine. So, what are you going to say about the Fulani headsmen killing innocent civilians or innocent citizens every day? People cannot go to their farms anymore. If it's not Fulani headsmen, it's kidnappers, even going to school to kidnap school children. Apart from the kidnappers, you have the bandits. Apart from the bandits, you also have the Boko Haram. Is this not worse than the gun violence you're talking about? What about the bad roads that is swallowing people every day? A lot of accidents. So many people dying from accidents. That's another thing. Correct? What about the hunger that is killing people every day because of the high inflation rate that we have? Come to talk about our health system. It's nothing to write home about. You're sick, you go to the hospital, you have to pay first before any other person attends to you. But here, nobody asks you for bills. They take care of you first, and then later on they send you the bill. If you're working, definitely your insurance company is going to pay most of it, and then you pay just a little at the end of the day, right? Nobody is going to leave you there to die because you do not have bill to pay. An example is when I had my first child. I had a team on me, like taking care of me, not just a nurse, not just a midwife. In Nigeria, what happens when you're having a child? Some of the nurses even leave you and just go away, or you have just a nurse. You have an OBGYN, you have a nurse, you have a midwife, you have a neonatal, you have a pediatrician in case something goes wrong with the baby and all that. You have all these people around you to make sure you're doing okay. Nobody shouts at you and tell you to stop screaming. Nothing. You go to our schools. I was a teacher. A child that is in the middle school, what am I even saying? Elementary school, or even kindergarten, offering 18 subjects, some even 24. And then they still go back home to copy notes at home and also do assignment. That doesn't happen here. So even if you're not thinking about yourself, what about your children? Don't you want to give them a good future? Just think about that. Just think about that. If you have the opportunity, please, you can travel. If you have the opportunity, travel. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about depression, the hunger that is killing people in Nigeria, and the corruption that is killing people, and also the insecurity. Isn't it worse than depression? You still have people. You go to work, don't you talk to people at work? Don't you have colleagues and friends? So what loneliness and depression are you talking about? For instance, I have a lot of friends that are Nigerians here that I talk to on the phone and I still visit. I have my husband and my kids, so even if I don't get to see my friends in the next 6 months, I talk to them on the phone. You have WhatsApp, you have Facebook. You can always FaceTime with your family and friends back in your home country. And then you spend time, you can talk to your colleagues, and there are so many things you can do to keep yourself busy. I was having a discussion with a friend who happens to be an esquire in Nigeria. She was telling me she's been at work from morning till evening. She came back and she still has 2 reports to write at home, and nobody pays her for overtime. Nobody pays her for that. And I believe the salary isn't even something to write home about. It's not even enough to feed her family and pay all the bills in their home and even pay the school fees. But here, even if you work overtime of just 30 minutes, you get paid for it. The only thing is it's difficult to save, because you have a lot of responsibility. But are you not working to take care of your bills? You're working to take care of yourself. Eat good food, live in a good environment, correct? And that's it. And you're even privileged to have a lot of people, your family members back home. So what are we saying? Nigerians, please and please, I beg you in the name of God, stop discouraging other people. You are there. If it's not comfortable for you, if it's not convenient for you, go back. Nobody is holding you wherever you are. Nobody is asking you to stay there and die there forever. Stop discouraging other people. There are lots of opportunity. I know we have it, but because of how corrupt our country is, you can't even explore. You can imagine graduating from the university, but you don't even have a job. My elder brother graduated. He was the top of his class. He has a CGP or GPA of over 4.40 something points, and he's been home for over 2 or 3 years without a job. He opened a studio, an art studio. Nobody to patronize him. And you're asking that same person to remain in Nigeria when he can come here, get admission here, school, and still get paid for schooling. That's true scholarship. And still get a job to take care of himself. This is somebody that is over 40, living under the roof of his father, the same roof, because he can't take care of himself. And you're asking people to remain where they are when they can explore and have better opportunities, good educational system, better health system, better standard of living. So what are we saying? Please, Nigerians, let's be selfless. Let's not be selfish. The fact that you're there, you don't want other people to come and be with you. You want them to remain there and be worshiping you and begging for peanuts. No, it doesn't work that way. If you have the opportunity, do travel. Thanks. Remain blessed. I love you all.